Hi folks, Dino Bob here. I'm interrupting the usual back and forth between the two parks I've been building for a little bit of gameplay. Since the February updates, the game has become, well, a lot more like a game. So today I'm going to go through opening a new park and build it up to just over 1 star. You start at the new game by selecting location, a theme, and then your spread of animals. These are the three I've elected to start with for reasons which I'll get into as we go along. Since this is temperate, it rains a lot in England, and the first thing we do is pause. I do that mostly so I don't spend time and money on upkeep while I build things. I got rid of the entrance, which built up some more money, and I'm using that to lay down these prefabs I made to create a new entrance and do some decor around it. And this is all adding up to, I'm starting with a little bit less than 2.5 million when I start getting around to doing things for the animals. The first animal in is going to be Protoceratops. I've prepped the area, excuse me about that, by getting the space laid out using the habitat marker and done the prep. I'm putting in 2 of the girls, and I have replaced some of the fence with actual fence, and you can see now that I'm putting in a lot of rocks to cover the habitat marker and keep the animals in the enclosure. I'm just roughing it out right now. I will want to later mess with the rocks a bit to make them a little bit more natural looking, and also to get their color a little bit closer to the rocks that are in the painting menu for this this kind of biome. So pretty quick work using the plant brush in clumps to set up various kinds of layouts to the vegetation. The Prehistorica doesn't like a lot of vegetation, so I can get away with not spending too much money on that. I'm setting up the information screens and the food and enrichment for the animal, making sure everything checks out, putting in the binocular sets to get environmental coverage, pretty much on the basic level. I'm sort of in a hurry here, from my own point of view, to get an animal in place so we can start having money come in. So as you can see, I've already let the guests in before I dropped that that building in there, which has 2 nourishment modules and a bathroom and a merchandise stand. So that's a prefab I built in preparation. Now, one of the things that's just come into the game is the research tree, and I don't really have enough money to get males in the game without a loan. And my experience with the loans is I'm really not happy with the way they play right now, so I'm doing my best to avoid them. One of the things I'm going to need before I get out of this is the strength 2 fences, so that's something I'm going to be very interested in getting researched so I can get into that 2nd star. More guests come with each star, and so that's where a lot of your money's coming from, and you want to be prepared to do that. So I've started the fence. It's going to take a little bit of time before it's available to me, but that's okay. I have plenty to do before I get there. Not really ready to go for any of those other things yet. The themes are pretty expensive for a beginning zoo. The medium restroom will come up fairly early in the game, at least as it's playing now. Right now I'm building up my stock of plants and meat, and so those will be some of the stuff that I will be using first to put down my animals. You probably noticed on that screen there were 2 animals that were in that exhibit, because I went out to the dig site and got a Psittacosaurus, the one nearest to the Protoceratops site, and that gives them an enrichment bonus which is really important in building up your zoo quickly. I'm moving to the second animal now, which is Dryosaurus. That choice was made to unlock the Morrison Formation. I chose the Protoceratops because it unlocks its formation. Not that there's anything else there, but if all goes well, Velociraptor will be showing up there, and that will also be a good animal to get to fairly early in the game. At that point, the dig site may go up, so Protoceratops becomes a better choice for your starter animal, and instead of the Psittacosaurus, which is a one animal thing. Now with our second habitat in, you saw the star rating had gone up, but we're not quite into the 2-star. So we have to start prepping for the animal that'll get us over that. You can see me working out just how big I need the habitat to be. It will be Nasutoceratops, which is a 2-star animal. And that should get us over the line into the 2-star territory for getting our park built up. The habitat markers are really useful for getting a sense of how your exhibit will look, and also knowing its size. I tend to paint the ground at the beginning, put the water in and such. Nasutoceratops wants a much bigger space than any other animals that are my choice right now, and it needs a lot of water. It seems to have been a swamp dweller, so we want to give it a swampy feel. And again, I'm putting in rocks because, quite frankly, they're cheaper than the fences, particularly because you can scale them. So it helps save money. So the strength 2 fences that this animal needs, which I researched earlier, are now set up in the viewing areas so our guests can still see the animals. And right now, they're satisfied with the view they can get, and that's good. That's probably going to change over time. A lot of this stuff will get some tweaks as we go along in the development process, I expect. Certainly some are definitely planned. Others are maybes. And some things, you know, what one person wants to see is not necessarily what someone else wants to see. When escapes come into the game, some of these builds may not prove to be suitable, and one will have to adapt. I mean, these rocks right now are going to be outdated shortly, according to the current work plan on the Trello. We'll be getting a new rock, and it'll be wonderful for something like the habitat we just saw me building, because we can add moss to those rocks, and that'll give a much better environment. So let's see what our zoo's looking like right now. We've got our 3 animals, Nasutoceratops, about to physically go into the zoo. And we find that we've got a warning about power. So I have to expand the power grid so that we can cover the new exhibit and keep everybody happy. So our Nasutoceratops are breeding, and I'm putting in their vegetation enough to get them started. You'll notice I'm clicking on Nigel and having him be quiet because I'm working here. One of the changes the devs made that I don't like is they automatically turned all the vegetation on when you choose a biome. For me, that's always an extra click because I don't want to ever paint with all of the things in the biome. So, you know, it'll work for some people, I guess, but it's not so great for me. Anything that reduces clicks is good. But you saw I put down a bunch of foliage, and then I have to click it again to get rid of it, and you know, then go back to selecting the things by deselecting all the stuff and getting the ones I want to put down with the brush. Doing a lot of fussing with plants as the brush puts them down, because while it helps give you that randomness that nature often has, it often ends up with, you know, things in the water or blocking the guest's point of view, or things very closely clumped together. And you see now that our animals are happy, we're into 2 stars. and we have successfully got hordes of people starting to come in. I'm fast forwarding it now because I need to build up money for the park to do anything else. Do a little rearranging of plants in here right now and hiding the dung beetles. They having the area shown that the things like the dung beetles and the binoculars and the power devices, what they cover, it's great knowing that and makes it easier for planning. And I checked and saw that, you know, my guests are starting to get unhappy because there's so many of them that they need more facilities. So it's time to drop another one of these little module buildings with the guest amenities and look at them swarm it. This is also helping to spread them out so they don't all go in one direction, and helps with some of those traffic jams. So a little bit of decoration, which is something I like in the recent tweaks the devs have put in, that we can actually make a reasonably nice looking park without going bankrupt or taking loans. So my park's doing pretty well. I'm liking that. It's good gameplay for a change, rather than sort of half-hearted stuff. And we got more of that coming. One of the next couple of updates will have modifications to the power. So that'll be a little bit different. And I think it's only going to get better from here. So I think that's great. Next week, I expect to be back to doing the sandbox zoos, where the builds have been happening in Vombre Park. Excuse me, Vombre Park, and what was the other one? Lost Kingdom. So go on from there. You see here, I'm looking at the map. I was trying to decide what animal should be next. I want something I can afford, because all the website, dig sites, not websites, the dig sites need a significant amount of money to open once you get out of those one-star animals. And the animals in them often need a strength 3 fence, so you have to add that into your prep costs. And the animals themselves are more expensive to get from the dig site. And you also are headed toward territory where you need a bigger nursery, which is going to be an upcharge as well. So one of the tricks I've already found out is, once you got your one-star animals in and you're building up your money, hello guys. We're going to do the usual animals at the end of it there with this little frisky Protoceratops first in. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He must be a happy little puppy. Okay. Enough show. Bye. Anyway, what was I saying? Get distracted by the nice animals. Psittacosaurus, our second animal in. Dryosaurus, our third animal in. They do like to peck at the ground. We have some Canada geese near our house, and they spend a lot of their time pecking at the ground and the grass looking for things to eat. I think unfortunately this pair, one of them has a damaged wing and I suspect it can't fly very well, if at all. So they don't go much of anywhere. But it appears to be a mated pair, so they're not giving up on each other. Now these guys are definitely a pair, but not mated, and hanging out in the same enclosure, but they don't seem to like each other very much. We'll just pretend the other one's not there. So last animal in was Nasutoceratops. Because he's our 2-star animal, we'll get a couple of clips of him. But we're coming up toward the end now. So I hope you enjoyed this separate take on actually playing the game. And although it was very, very fast, I was trying to squeeze it in on that 15-minute tagline for minor YouTubers like me. So there's an aerial shot of the exhibits as I put in, and that's our, a little bit playing with the light to see what it'd look like. Anyway, that's it for Donna Bob this week, and I hope to see you all again stopping by in another video. Be kind to each other and take care of yourself. And that's it for me. Signing off.